Aditya, and I'm the secretary of Deakin Graduate Business Society. Unfortunately, Deakin Analytics was supposed to talk, but I'm just popping up. And so we as a society help connect students from business background and from business analytics, and we make sure that we help as a society to bring people together for networking purpose. So today I'm going to talk a bit about online events that how we conducted in past 4 months. Uh, since we got elected from September, we hardly any time to interact with any of my executive members during my past 4 months. But over the course of last 6 months, we have created we plan to make sure that at least one event should be created every month. So over the course of last 6 months, we have created 4 online events, and some events have been successful, and some events have not been that successful. But over the course of last 6 months, we created one event in OFest where we got like at least 3 members from different background who are members of our club. And one of the things that helped us creating online event was the first thing we did like for creating an online event was promoting it on all our social media platform. The one of the things was starting from Instagram. We created like video promotion on our Insta stories, like how can you be a part of this club. And one of the other things we did was email invite, and one week before the event and one on the day of the event. And uh, the other things which we did while conducting and running an online event was playing ice break games with the members of the club. And mostly the questions would be like, where are you from, and what course are you pursuing. And there were other games that we played while conducting an ice breaking session was Scribble and Among Us. And this was how we conducted online events throughout like last 6 months. And we really didn't get successful in getting many members, but we did get like three to four, five, 6 members for our club. And one of the other things that we did as a while running an online event was giving gift vouchers after playing the games to the members. Was like gifting of for three gift vouchers for people who win of $10. And this is how we conducted our online session and online games throughout our event. That's it from my side. I think Manish can be a part, like can go forward with this.
I might just jump in quickly. Did anyone have any questions regarding this presentation? No? I might ask one. Did you find any particular activities or games online which were perhaps your most popular? Were there any that you found were really successful with engagement within your event?
I think Scribble was one of the things that we tried to play, but yeah, that's the one of the things like people really liked, the members of the club.
Awesome, thank you. Oh, we've got another question that's come through. Do you have any tips?
I think the more frankly speaking, we I think creating online events is like not that easy as you say, but I think you can just for engagement of the members, you can really have coffee catch up sessions too with your members, like in once a week or like once a month with your members. And that's one of the things that we did, like we are regularly doing like every month. And that's like one of the tips that I can give to every other members of the different clubs, like do have coffee catch up session with every other members at least once a month.
Awesome, thank you. Alrighty, I might pass on to Manish just to do a quick sound check. Are you all good with sound? Awesome.
Yes. Can you hear me right?
Yes, I can.
Right on.
Thank you.
Good day, guys. Hope you're all well. And Aditya has warmed you up as well. So, so I'll start off introducing myself, and then we've got another team member, Vaishnavi, on call. She can introduce herself as well after me, and then we'll take it forward from there. So I've got one more trimester left. I've got one trimester. That's the start of 21. By mid 21, I'll be done with it. I'm doing Masters of Information Systems, and apart from, of course, studies, I work part-time. I work as a business analyst for a media organization. So that primarily takes a fair bit of my time. And when I find extra bit of time, I do a bit of horse riding. And then yeah, that's pretty much about me. And then about the club and let's see if Vaishnavi is here. Vaishnavi, can you just jump in and introduce yourself?
Hi guys, my name is Vaishnavi. My name is Vaishnavi Gambira Peta, and I am from Business Analytics course. I'm due with the last 2 sems. So that is about me, and I am a treasurer of Deacon Analytics and Consulting Club.
Right. Thanks, Vaishnavi, for that introduction. And discussing about the past couple of events, what the club has done, we have somehow managed to find a few other clubs who have the same goals, similar goals with respect to event delivery, and we have clubbed with them. When we came across the Indian Club and also the DGBS, Deakin Graduate Business Society, they wanted to come up with some similar events, and they wanted to deliver similar content. So the best way we could do is we collaborated with them. So what that did for us is it also pumped up the numbers and also gave us a bigger audience to give out content to. The past couple of events, what we've done is something like Chai Pe Charcha, where people come out and ask different sorts of questions. People from all walks of life, all different courses come together and ask some basic questions, anything and everything they want to know. So the panel sits and answers their questions one-on-one. So the panel consists of people from different courses and different age groups as well, just to cover all the demographics of the audience. And then apart from sessions like this, there were a couple of workshops that were conducted. Like Excel workshop was one of them, where Excel is one of the main tools where almost everyone uses these days. And sometimes we do lack some basic skills. So in this workshop, which was easy to conduct online, the different completely amateur audience was the target, where they were introduced to Excel as well as given basic shortcuts and given a couple of solutions to work out. So that was an easy thing to do online. And then we had a more detailed and more technical workshop, that was the Python workshop. So these different kinds of workshops helps in higher engagement. It helps the people also gain fair bit of knowledge and skill, which otherwise the course doesn't teach itself. Of course, we have a lot of assignments which expect us to work on specific tools, but then we do not get the basics as much. And also during the study, it's difficult for students to learn learn the tool itself, because they are they're more focused towards completing their assignments and submitting them than to learn the best practices of a tool. So these kind of workshops help them to understand the tool in a much better sense, which eventually will help them perform better in their assignments as well as probably at their work. And apart from these knowledge workshops and information sessions, there was a movie night as well. That was on the entertainment front, where we wanted to engage our members, some members who are more interested in more entertainment than the actual information and knowledge. So for that particular segment, we came up with a movie night. And yeah, and we also had a couple of industry professionals coming over and giving out information about what to expect once they graduate. So all of these sessions were pretty easy to be conducted online, where physical presence wasn't absolutely required. But we also hope to have more of I mean, where people can actually come and meet and greet each other, because that's a different kind of experience altogether. So we have a couple of events which we are planning to come up with. That is Analytics and Consulting Conference, and case study competitions are pretty easy to conduct online and offline as well. And the other in-person attendance event we are planning is the networking dinner. So this is a couple of past events, as well as future events, what we have got planned from the club. And yep, that is pretty much what all about events. Was there something else specifically you wanted to know about, if anyone wants to?
Hi, I had a question. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yep.
Perfect.
All good.
I was wondering how you managed to get in touch with industry professionals to participate in your event.
Yep. So this was pretty easy because of networking. It's not just the committee members, but also the members who come up with suggestions that we need someone like this. So primarily how we got in touch with the already existing professionals is they were all our alumni. They studied in Deakin and they've gone and got a job in got a full-time job in the market. And it is easy to reach out to them even if you do not know them, because if you jump online, probably on LinkedIn, and talk to a couple of people, it is very easy to source people like this, because they are more than willing to spend, say, half an hour of their time to come and talk to people if it helps. So how we got in touch with one of the professionals was we knew him already, and then we prepared a small questionnaire about consisting of 5 questions about what is expected out of him from the session, and gave him a brief description of the audience who will be listening to him. And then we hit the ground running. That was pretty easy. So LinkedIn, if you do not know people, you can jump on LinkedIn and approach them and tell them, give them a brief description about the event and request them to come over, and people are willing to do that. But majority of them whom we've approached was people who have already studied at Deakin, so it makes it even more easier.
Manish, that was very helpful. Thank you so much.
Right, man. Thanks. Right, we've got a question from Emily about how to increase turnout and engagement of virtual events. This is one of the biggest challenges, but then it's a bit of a science as well as an art, because you need to sell it in such a way that they feel that there is something in it for them. Unless someone feels that there is something in it for them, they do not turn up, because things like this, you can watch it on YouTube as well. But then what we try to do is probably give out a couple of gift vouchers. That is the first tactic what we use. The other way is continuous reminders, because a lot of people register for a fair few events, but then it is not in the back of the mind. So constant reminding of, you've got an event coming up is one way to get people to attend after they have registered. But to get people to register, there needs to be we probably need to try to understand what our audience consists of and what are their absolute needs. So what we've observed from conducting Excel workshops and Python workshops are, in our membership base, there are people of different skill levels. So when we send out Excel, it doesn't actually interest, say, 25% of the audience, because they are way over and above it. So that's when we understood that, okay, there is some segment of our membership base which needs something more advanced. And then we created a Python workshop. Even though it didn't attract a lot of people, it did cater to some segment of the audience. So that is how we covered probably, say, 80% of our membership base. So something in it for them and constant reminders is what has worked for this particular club. Does that answer you, Emily? Yes. Have we got some other question?
Yeah. So do you have events that are ongoing? So for example, if you know it's an event, there's like a global event coming up.
Yes.
Do you like how long does it take? How long before the actual event itself do you start actually implementing things and having things planned out? So
So what we do is there were a couple of case study competitions. One of it was specifically Microsoft, which approached the club. We were in contact with them, and they wanted people to participate in their case study competitions. But then eventually what happened was we did not have the numbers. They wanted about 80 and above number of people to participate in that particular competition, but we did not have that membership base. So as of now, we have not done something of that sort where it's a global event and we provide support or we push it out to our members, but we hope to do it somehow. Did I get your question right?
yeah, no, sort of. It's so I'm the accessibility and services representative at DUSA, and it's the first time. So we were talking. I was talking to my coordinator, and he for Geelong and Wampon's campus, waterfront campus. Sorry, and he basically said because it's such a new role, we're sort of writing last year off because last year was actually the first official year with all of the representatives. And because last year was last year, it's sort of like we're starting from scratch.
Right.
So DUSA have never actually held any event specifically for students with disabilities or students who are carers. And I heard about one event that happened, but because I didn't have the time to actually prepare for it properly and put the proposals through, the event ended up not happening. Which is frustrating. So how long, so if you know that you've got like a event that's going to be held yearly, when do you start the actual planning process for that event?
So the planning process for probably an annual event starts based on the membership as well. Membership base, let me tell you, for a membership base of say 70 or 80, we start the process say about exactly a month from the registration date, the last date to register, a month before that. And that is where we start giving out the information, and we probably layer it in 2 or 3 different layers. The first one is just to introduce the event. The second one is to know if there is fair bit of interest among the members. And the third one is to actually push people to register. So if we go right at the start and ask them to register, it's a bit of a cold one which comes on them. So if we layer it up or say put it in different stages. First stage is to just introduce the event, to get that event in their mind. The second one is to know if they're interested, and the third one is to actually push for the registration. So that gives us fair bit of time, and this can happen over a period of say 15 days or a fortnight, and then you have ample time for them also to prepare, to either register or prepare. So I'd say roughly a month is when you introduce that term in their mind. And for case study competitions, they roughly need say 10 hours of prep. 10 hours spread over 2 weeks is easy to get. An hour a day is something you can expect out of students who are working as well as studying.
Okay, everyone, if there's no more questions left for Minish, we might hand it over to our last group, which is the Deakin Uni Higher Degree by Research Society. So we'll hand over to those.
All right, guys.
Hey everyone, can you all hear me? Yes, okay,
Yep, we
perfect.
can hear you.
Awesome. My name is Tanjeen. I am the president of DU HDR Society, and I'm a first year HDR student. And actually, in a few weeks from now, I'll be in my second year, which is wild because time just flies by. But yeah, so I'm the only one from my exec team who's presenting today because one of our other members unfortunately got sick, so wishing her a speedy recovery. And our other exec member is preparing for another conference because that's just the life of an HDR student. If you're an HDR student, you would know what it's like. Okay, so we prepared a PowerPoint presentation, which I'll share. I'm just going to share my screen right now. There, can everyone see my screen? Awesome. Love the thumbs up from Kathleen. All right, so I'll present. There. All right, first of all, we wanted to do a land acknowledgement, especially because I'm actually presenting from Canada in Toronto because I got stuck here. So waiting for the day I can come back to Australia. So I'll do both the Australian land acknowledgement and the Canadian one. So we begin by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional custodians of the land on which we are gathered today. And for the land I'm on in Canada, we are on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We pay our respects to the local people for allowing us to have our virtual gathering on their land and to their elders, past, present, and future. Just thought it was important to acknowledge our positionality as settlers in where lands were colonized before. So again, I'm the president of the DU HDR Society. And then we also have Sudipta Chaudhary, who is the secretary. And we have Kanak, who is the treasurer. So it's a team of 3. And this is our timeline of our experience with DU HDR Society. So we all started in the beginning of November 2020, which was fairly recent. We got voted in during the meeting. And then in mid-November, we started planning and we decided to create Instagram and LinkedIn accounts because we only had Facebook and we wanted to increase outreach, which was very effective. In December, we had our first sort of raffle draw to kind of get people in and get a feel for what people want. But we actually got 0 entries, which was very interesting. So I'll go through more about that in a bit. And then in January, we hosted our first virtual event, which was a New Year meet and greet, just for HDR students to sort of see each other and get to know each other, because in 2020, there were no events because with the pandemic, everything just kind of, everyone got kind of busy and was trying to figure things out with their HDR sort of journeys. And in February, we're now presenting at the Leadership Conference. So even though we started a couple of months ago, we've been trying to do as much as we can. All right, so again, like I said, the raffle draw, we got 0 entries and we kind of reflected on it and was wondering what went wrong. And we realized that the timing might have been off because HDR students were probably trying to wrap things up for Christmas break and December is sort of rush month. And we also realized that outreach was key. So we did post this poster on our social media platforms, but we should have posted it more often, we realized. So again, these are our social media accounts. Feel free to like our page or join or message us on any of these accounts or email us. I put the email at the end of the presentation. All right, so then we planned the DU HDR Society New Year meet and greet, and we realized that collaboration is key. So we actually had someone who decided to join us, Alison Musgrove from Graduate Research Academy. And a Graduate Research Academy can reach out to all HDR students. So she said that at any point, if we wanted to promote an event or collaborate, then we are welcome to do so with GRA. So that's amazing. And we had 16 people register and 10 people attended, which was a much, much better turnout than the 0 sort of reception we got in December. So again, that's how we knew that timing was key. And we played various games. So we did icebreakers, we played Scribble, as someone mentioned before, and we did Kahoot. And this was one of the slides. So we also did Two Truths and a Lie, which was one of our icebreaker games. And to make sure that everything was secure, we created a registration page so that before people were able to go on, and we made sure that it was for internal users only, so that only Deakin students can register and get access to the Zoom link. And again, this is Scribble. The attendees loved playing Scribble. It's like online Pictionary. And we decided to do an Australian themed Kahoot because it's just fitting. And we realized that a lot of the students were international students, so it was fun to learn more about Australia. And these were our attendees, everyone looking happy, which is great. And then at the end, we gathered feedback. So we had an exit poll so that we can sort of figure out what we should program for the rest of the year. And I was a little bit surprised actually, because I thought people would want to do writing sessions and other academic related things. But basically what we got, and I think this got cut off here, but most of the attendees wanted to do things that were more social. So like day trips or movie nights and eating out. And everyone's looking forward to meeting in person, which is totally understandable. It's a little sad for me because I don't know when I'm coming back to Australia, so I won't be able to take part in those things, but we'll see what happens. So our future plans, we are planning on creating a poll for and putting it out on social media and emailing people so that we can get more feedback on what kind of programming we should do. We're going to have a stall during O Week, so please come visit us. And we're going to try to schedule weekly or monthly coffee catch-ups with students so that we can continue to foster the HDR community. And also I wanted to give a very special shout out to Sophie because all three of us on the exec team were very new as HDR students and as members of DU HDR Society. And she guided us and went above and beyond to provide us with all the information that we needed to get up and running. Did anyone have any questions?
Hello. So this is for the higher degree. So going forward in postgraduate, masters, that sort of honors. Am I right?
Yeah,
so, okay, cool.
Exactly. So anyone who's involved in research, so whether it's a PhD student or a master's student, can be part of is a HDR student.
Okay, cool. Just still racking my head around it all. Could we actually come and ask questions of, he's doing further studying and stuff? Because I'm still umming and ahhing. I've just finished my Bachelor of Arts degree and I've got ideas, but I'm not 100% sure. Or is that not what you're aimed at?
So we're not the official Deakin sort of go-to place for academic related information. Our main sort of thing is creating, fostering the environment, so creating sort of social events, and then we can choose to collaborate with the academic resources. I would say you should contact the GRA, or you can send me your email, and then I could send you some resources or email addresses if that helps.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at doing it, but still not 100% sure, and I don't want to do it just because, never mind, it's all good. Thank you though. Just want the student's perspective rather than, yes, you should definitely do this more of a student's perspective than anything else.
Oh, okay. Well, in terms of that, I would say if there's a specific faculty member that you feel you connect with, then you should connect with them. That's what I did from Canada a few years ago. I came across a posting and then I emailed the person who was the supervisor, and then we connected really well, which was why I decided to move to Australia. I moved there for a bit anyway. So,
right.
Yeah. So Emily has a question. Any advice on gaining interest from non-club members for events? So we reached out to the Deakin HDR general Facebook page, which has about, I think 2,000 or 3,000 students compared to our own group, which has about 200. And then we managed to get new members from there, or at least they joined Facebook and a couple also joined as members. So we did that. And then we are also planning on reaching out through the GRA. So hopefully they can send something through their listserv. And we're going to reach out to our faculties. So what's great is that all three of us are from 3 different faculties. So we'll be able to just contact our relative faculty and then ask them if they have a listserv so that they can also reach out and say, hey, there's a DUSA group for HDR students. Feel free to join. I hope that helps. Any other questions? Okay, I will stop sharing.
Okay, everyone, if there's no further questions, we can wrap it up for today's session. Thanks to all the speakers from the clubs today for presenting and giving a little bit more insight for how to running a virtual event. So hopefully all those in attendance were able to take a bit away from what was presented today. The Leadership Conference does continue